So you should be able to pull your mind and use your concentration at all times. Whenever you're working and then bad things happen to affect your mind, then immediately you can be able to concentrate. Most people already have concentration. Otherwise, they would all go mad. But for most people, even though they have it, they are not able to use it when they need it. Guruji asks you to explain why.
Absence of mindfulness.
เพราะว่าไม่มีสติ Actually, Guruji explains that people are reluctant to use it. Nobody else? เสียงชิดกัดชิดกัดSo you should be able to understand that everyone has the good things already in their mind, in their body. It's available within oneself, but it's up to you to be able to use it towards success. When people encounter problems, why is it that they sometimes are not able to solve those problems? It's because people do not try to pull the goodness, the good things available within themselves to fight the problems. If you think of all the great emperors, kings, or the great master teacher, they were successful because they were able to pull the good things and use them. But to be able to do that, you need a lot of concentration, determination. So you must have concentration in your mind. Everyone who have been successful in their life, their mind has a lot of concentration. So concentration is really a universal thing. It's not about religion. That is the reason why the whole world is interested in having, studying about concentration. But the thing is, concentration would only arise in a mind that is wholesome, a mind with goodness. So we have to begin with how to make people have wholesomeness in their mind. And that is the reason that we have religion. And therefore, for all religion, they have to start the very basic, the very beginning is that they must have the 5 sila. Without the 5 sila, without people having their wholesomeness in their mind, they will never be able to have concentration. The concentration that is beneficial must be a cool concentration. White concentration, not a black one. We can find people with black concentration everywhere, but they are not using it for beneficial things. And it even come back to hurt the person himself. All those people with this, this bad things that they tell people what can happen, it come back and burned themselves up. So they use this lower form of knowledge to come back and burn up themselves, burn up their own mind. And in the long run, even that bad concentration that they used to have would also disappear. So these people actually don't have the good type of concentration. What they are using, depending on, is just keep reciting all those mantras, So how do we make concentration arises and keep our mind in wholesomeness always? What is important then is we have to have metta, loving kindness, keeping control of our mind. Because when you have loving kindness, metta, and you have compassion, karuna, that would help you keeping your 5 sila. People without loving kindness, without compassion, would never have the 5 sila. So when you teach people to try to keep the 5 sila, and teaching people to be loving kindness and be compassionate, and that's actually quite a different thing. So once you understand this, you try to maintain the control of your mind by always having loving kindness and compassion. People with loving kindness naturally would have sila. So what the problems with people is you don't have loving kindness for yourself.
แต่ผู้ติจะต้องพัฒนาจิตให้มีเมตตาตัวเองเมตตาตัวเองก็เกิดรู้สึกขับแค้นไม่สบายใจต้องคุยกัน
Guruji, you must train yourself to have loving kindness for yourself all the time. Whenever you feel depression arises, you try to arouse the loving kindness for yourself first. Don't allow those bad feeling, the depression and all that kind of thing to ever arise in your mind. If you are able to do that, then your mind would be continually always having concentration wherever you sit. So the reason you are sitting here like this is just a training so that you can maintain control of your mind continuously. So it's the opportunity you have to have this discussion with Guruji just so that you can understand yourself first. So this time that Guruji is here is not to give you a training on meditation, but wants to just have a conversation with you so you can understand. Just like yesterday, Guruji had a long conversation with people about education, about Dhamma studies. The problem with people is they may be good people, but they don't understand actually what is goodness. They spend time thinking about other things other than developing themselves. The problems you have with your life, it's all outside. Your business, Guruji's marriage, or non-marriage. So those make you lose your goodness within yourself. Do you know, Buddhism pay no attention to these things. Buddhism give significance only to being a good person. You can exist anywhere if you are a good person. And then you will be able to step over all kinds of sufferings. What is important is Buddhism teaches you to understand the world. We become too involved with culture, traditions, all those kind of things that are not the essence of Dhamma. So these things are not about being religion. So it's just the other side of the world, which is just an involvement with these rituals, cultures, and traditions, whereas religion is all about teaching people to be good.
เมื่อคุณเป็นคนดีวันหนึ่งคนดีเจอกันเขาก็เจอโดยวิธี
If you are a good person and there are other people who are good persons as well, one day if you meet them, then you will be able to join together to do other things that are good.
สิ่งที่สำคัญของพุทธศาสนาคือการจะนำมีเพื่อนที่ดีไม่ใช่คู่ที่ดีไม่ใช่ผัวที่ดีไม่ใช่ผัวเมียนะจะมีเพื่อนที่ดีแล้วผมเนี่ย
What is important in Buddhism is having good friends, kalyana mitta. It's not having good spouse, good wife, good husband. That's a completely different story. Good friends come first.
เพราะว่าศาสนาพุทธศาสนาเล็งเห็นว่าจริงๆคนเราก็คือการเป็นเพื่อนในโซเชียลนะครับ
Buddhism talks about being good friends in society.
เพราะฉะนั้นเราจะไม่อยู่ภายใต้กฎเกณฑ์ของความเชื่อของสังคมแบบดูหรือแบบตามหรือวาระการมา
So Buddhism is not under the same belief as in Hindu or in the Brahmin system that has laid the foundation for a long time.
ว่าการสร้างกฎเกณฑ์มาเพื่อปกครองในกลุ่มของคนในสังคม
Because Brahmin system created all the rules and regulation to rule people.
และสังคมของอินเดียก็ยังอยู่ภายใต้อำนาจของพราหมณ์อยู่ไม่ถึงกับวันนี้ความคิดของพราหมณ์
Even up to the present day, Indian society is still under the influence of the Brahmin system.
ลักษณะวิธีที่ทางโซเชียลเนี่ยก็เป็นความเชื่อทางทางกันเลย
So all the rules in society is following the belief of the Brahmin.
เขาไม่ได้มีอิสรภาพหรือว่าโซเชียลกดดันเขาอยู่
You have no freedom. You don't know that actually you are being under the pressure of society.
แต่พุทธศาสนาเนี่ยเกิดขึ้นเพื่อสลายสิ่งที่เป็นเงื่อนไขเหล่านี้
But Buddhism arises to dissolve all these problems
และสอนให้คุณมั่นใจว่าคุณเป็นคนดี
and teaches you to believe, being confident in your own goodness.
ดาริตอาจจะเป็นนักบวชในศาสนาเลยก็ได้โดยที่ไม่จำเป็นต้องเกี่ยวข้องกับครอบครัวเลยและเป็นคนดี
You can live the household life and take the ascetic life without being involved with your family, but you are a good person.
หรือดาริตอาจจะเป็นคนดีคนหนึ่งที่ไม่จำเป็นมีผัวมีลูกมีเมียก็ได้แต่ทำงานเลี้ยงคนมากมายมีลูกน้องมากมายในองค์กร
Or you might not need to have a family at all, but you work for a large number of people who feed them, help them.
และดาริตก็ได้ปัจจัยเงินที่มาเลี้ยงดูคนโดนเด็กคนช่วยเหลือสังคมและเป็นผู้มีชื่อเสียงยิ่งใหญ่
Then you would have all the resources you need to help people in a larger society, and you become a great person.
นี่คือสิ่งที่มันแสดงถึงความเป็นตัวของความเป็นศาสนาที่แท้จริง
This is an indicator of the real religion.
หนึ่งศาสนาเกิดมาเพื่อ
First, religion arises
เพื่อ
to
ประโยชน์แห่งตน
benefit the people,
ประโยชน์แห่งตนคือความเป็นคนดี
benefit the people within themselves for being good,
ถึงพร้อมด้วยความรู้และคุณธรรม
to be complete with knowledge and merit.
สอง
Second,
ใช้ความรู้คุณธรรมเป็นประโยชน์เพื่อผู้อื่น
use those knowledge and merit and virtue for the benefit of others, for society, for the environment. And third, for the continuation of the correct teaching of religion, which means to make this world peaceful and happy. Religion does not arise to make you selfish or to be fearful. That is why Dr. Ambedkar emphasized that any religion that arises and make people afraid or make people oppress each other, that is not religion. How do we make Lalit and Kruti have a healthy mind and able to use that healthy mind, that goodness in the mind, to benefit yourself? Having loving kindness and compassion for your friends, human beings, and all living beings, not only human. And help the disadvantaged in the society, give them opportunity to do good things as well. Of course, firstly, you need to give them food, clothes, accommodation, medicine. But actually, what you ultimately want is for them to be a good person. If you feed them, house them, and then they turn into thieves, then you shouldn't do it. But the question is, what would guarantee that they would turn into a good person? You have to build good conscience within them, within those people, and make them, with that good conscience, pull out the goodness within themselves. For Kruti, when you have problems, you didn't try to pull out your goodness and use them. But you always need Guruji to tell you each time to pull out that goodness from inside. And then you can do it, but you need Guruji to tell you why. Guruji wasn't helping you, but Guruji was telling you to help yourself. What he was doing was simply give you a support, that for you to be steady in determining to do good things. Of course, he used his energy, his power, but to support only, for you to be able to walk along this path of goodness. But you have to get up and walk by yourself. The same thing that Guruji was supporting you, Lalit. What he was telling you was to pull out from inside yourself all the goodness and use them. And then always supporting you, was behind you, give you back up, so that you can do all the good things that you are capable of. One thing Guruji has always told you is that do not run away from the problem. Do not be afraid of the problem. Fight them with your own goodness. So he always insisting you to have loving kindness, compassion, and abandon all those anger and vengefulness. To be successful, you have to stay with Dhamma. You have to rely both on yourself and rely on Dhamma. Dhamma would arise from religion that teaches you how to build up wisdom. So you have wisdom at 3 levels: at the sila level, at the samadhi concentration level, and at the wisdom level. The problem with you is that in Indian society, you encounter lots of problems which is not related to Dhamma. India has such a long tradition, or Jambudvipa, as we used to know, has accumulated so many problems, so many beliefs, so many views, right and wrong. Jambudvipa is the origin of the whole world. So it's all about views and opinions and beliefs. That is the reason that the first issue that the Lord Buddha talks about is Samma Ditti, or the right view. Everything in your life, without Samma Ditti, without the right view, well, you don't get anywhere else. In order for the right view to arise, you need to have, in the beginning, you have to have sati, you need to have concentration, and you need to have wisdom. So it's inescapable that you would need, firstly, to know how to develop the mind, having mindfulness. But it is wrong if you try to develop mindfulness and then get stuck with it. There are lots of yogis, a lot of ascetics who just get stuck, cannot be detached from their own concentration for the rest of their life. They cannot get away from it. That is not the right path either. We try to develop concentration in order to benefit from it. You grow trees not because you want the tree itself, but you want the fruits from the tree. In your life, you certainly do not need problems, but you need wisdom that will arise from solving those problems. But mostly, people become afraid of problems, and so they will never learn, never have wisdom from the problem. And what's important is people tend to solve the problems according to the belief of the world, but not solve them by their own wisdom. There's no need to discuss anything further, actually. You can keep listening to this short instruction every day. After listening to these Guruji words again and again, you can decide for yourself how you want to live your life. By relying on yourself, by relying on Dhamma, or you want to live under the regulation of society. Okay, let's Guruji wants to ask you one problem. Why is Vipassana, how is it related to Buddhism? The answer is that Buddhism teaches you to understand the law of nature, the truth as it exists in nature, to release your spirits from the bondage of the world. That means release yourself from the bondage of all the wrong teachings, the wrong views. That is when Vipassana can happen. Vipassana would not arise in religions that keep holding on to all the attachment. Attachment to customs, cultures and tradition is not correct. Even attachment to sila, concentration and wisdom is not correct either. That includes attachment to Lord Buddha himself. You only need to learn and understand the teaching and then use those teachings in your practice in order to realize the results. to know that being born into this world, you find only sufferings. Being Lalit, one person Lalit, then one suffering. Then you have Madhu, you also have to carry the sufferings of Madhu. And yes, with Kruti, you also have to carry her burden. Yes, and your Kruti's brother is another burden for you. Just talking about your small family, that's a big part of suffering you are carrying. You have to keep putting a smile on your face so not to show other people that you are suffering. You have to accept, carry this burden. It's too heavy already, too much burden on your shoulder. That is the reason that you cannot focus on your Dhamma practice, make it a pure kind of practice because of this extra burden around you. Even though inside you, inside your heart, in your mind, you have a lot of virtue, a lot of Dhamma, you cannot use it. Because you don't have enough time to stay with the goodness in yourself. Inside yourself, there are conflicts. You're trying to do the best you can, of course. But it's not the best that you can do, or you should do. So you are being blocked by all this burden. That's not just you. Most of the rest of the world are blocked by the things that Guruji just mentioned. So what you are doing now, you have the opportunity to do some chanting, meeting monks like Guruji and do some meditation. It's just something that will nurture you to go on a little bit more. You are nurturing the virtues in your heart so that you would have the enough energy to keep on going. Guruji encourage you to keep on fighting. Don't stop. Keep on fighting by accumulating more and more virtue. One day then, when you all these accumulated virtues and merit have realized certain stage, you will be able to be released from all your problems. Starting from today, the result may not be seen even within your lifetime, but you would attain it. But at the very least, what you have been doing or what you will try to do, you will be able to create some growth and prosperity and happiness.
สบายๆช่วงบ่ายๆเย็นๆไม่ต้องว่างค่ำนี้ก็จะทวนวิชาแล้วก็เจริญเมตตาสวดมนต์กันเจริญเมตตาแล้วก็สิ่งนี้มันเป็นคอนเซ็ปต์ของชีวิตซึ่งเขาดีพูดนี่นะที่แปลให้เขาไปฟังหน่อยนะครับแล้วเราก็จะมาปฏิบัติร่วมกันก็จะให้เขาได้ปฏิบัติเชิญการพัฒนาจิตของเขาของผู้จิตเช่นเดียวกันก็น่าจะสบายๆไม่ได้รีบร้อนคิดว่าเรามานั่งคุยกันมาเสร็จ
So Guruji would use today a relaxing time for you. We can meet again like this later in the day. Guruji would review all the teaching that he has been given you. We can find also some time to meditate together. In order for you to find the principle, then you can hold on to, and that you will use it when you have certain problems, then you will be able to solve them. So, Guruji, you need to listen to Guruji carefully and find the principle that you need. There's no rush today, so whenever you feel like coming and talk. This is already a great blessing for your household to have Guruji here, for you to have the opportunity to sit with him and have an informal talk like this. One of the greatest blessings that Lord Buddha teach for his disciple to understand is that having an opportunity to see the samana or the monk, that is the greatest blessing. And furthermore, you have the opportunity to listen to the correct Dhamma. You have to be brave enough to solve all the problems that comes at you with Dhamma. A lot of people understand Dhamma, but when the time comes, they are not brave enough to use Dhamma to solve those problems. Because they have been under the pressure of the world around them for such a long time. We call those people, and that's why we call them the world beings.